and welcome to the Australian Council Arts and Disability Initiative, a Zoom webinar. I'd like to welcome everybody and we would like to pay our respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and we pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and our respects to our First Nations colleagues and First Nations participants. I'm Sandy Collins. I'm the manager of Artist Services team. I am female. I'm wearing glasses. I have dark brown hair, which is rapidly going grey, and I have light brown eyes and olive skin. I'd like to introduce you to the staff that I'm joined with. Mr. Chris Bryant.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I'm, as Sandy mentioned, on the Artist Services team. I have brown hair, glasses, a silver chain and a, I guess, purple and blue shirt that I'm wearing.
Thanks, Chris. On my left, we have Dane Hunra.
Hello, my name is Dane. I'm also on the Artist Services team. I am tall and bald, and I'm wearing a large grey cap and a dirty denim jacket.
Thanks, Dane. And also to my left, Megan Exton.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan from the Artist Services team. I am tall, I have shoulder length dark hair that's pulled back, and I'm in a long sleeve dress today.
Thank you. I'd also like to introduce our Auslan interpreters, whom we rely on so very much, and welcome them to the meeting. Thank you. This meeting is being recorded. It's being captioned, and will go up on our website in a couple of days. We are here to present the Arts and Disability Initiative 2022 to 2024. We will have a Q&A at the end of the session, but as Dane said, if you have some questions, please use the Q&A function and we'll get to those as soon as we can. The Australian Council for the Arts is offering 6 grants of $30,000. These grants can provide support for significant projects to extend your arts practice, your networks, skills, and ambition. Your project should be ambitious, bold, and innovative. It should enhance your career and work and strengthen your networks. It must include a clear plan with the steps you'll take to achieve your goals. It must also outline the structure and support you will put in place for your development to take your career or practice to the next level. Supported activities must last no longer than 2 years from the proposed start date, and applications to this initiative close on Tuesday, 2nd of August at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm now going to introduce Megan again, who's going to go through what you can apply for. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Sandy. So some examples of what you can apply for. Skills development, mentoring, residencies, creation of new work, creative development, experimentation, practice-based research, presentation and promotion, collaboration, and travel. Access costs are legitimate expenses and may be included in your application. We encourage you to ensure that your work is accessible to everyone. Therefore, your budgets may include costs associated with making activities accessible to a wide range of people. Some examples of this can be performances using Auslan, translation to other languages, captioning, audio description, temporary building adjustments, and materials in other formats. You may apply for access costs associated with the use of an interpreter, translation service, specific technical equipment, carer, or support worker assistance. And as always, please contact the Artist Services team to discuss your needs. I'm now going to pass over to Dane, who's going to talk about 3 criteria and the peer assessment process.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks.
So it might be good for me to touch on first about how we decide who will be receiving the funding. The Australia Council every 4 years or so brings in a collection of people who assess our grants for us. This is about 800 people. And from that 800 people, we select a group for every different assessment round that we have, depending on the various skills that they have to make that selection. In this particular case, we will be selecting from people in our peer pool, that's what we call them, our assessors, who identify as having a disability to be assessing these grants for us. And they will be people from all the different disciplines, from different locations geographically, from different cultural backgrounds, and who experience different types of disability. Our assessment team put in a lot of effort to pick the right people for it, and it's a very vigorous conversation that they have. It might also help me just to explain how they receive the applications. So we'll get a whole lot of applications for this particular round, and we send them to our assessors to have a read, to have a listen, to watch your videos. And then they'll be scoring your applications from 1 to 7 against 3 different criteria. And once they've submitted their scores, we put them all together in a list, and then we have a very nuanced conversation through that list to see who will be receiving the funds. I'll now have a chat about how, which particular criteria they'll be scoring against. I'll start with something that's a little bit more formal, like from our website, but then I'll give it to you in the way that makes sense to me. So the first one is about quality. They'll be assessing the quality of your proposal, and this can be about the quality of the proposed activity, the quality of your previous work, public or peer response to your work, the quality of your collaborators or partners, and how your proposed activity is ambitious and bold. But in plain speak, it's all about how good is it. A lot of this is determined by the support material that you provide. You can give 10 minutes of audio or video material, 10 images, or 10 pages of text, and this is what will help you cut through. They'll be looking at who's involved. Do you have great track record? And do the other people working with you have a good track record? How interesting is the project? Is it important work? And are you about to tip over into something that might be the next level of excellence for you? The second criteria is about viability. And that's about realistic and achievable planning, evidence of structure and support, the relevance and timeliness of your activities, the skills and roles of the people involved. And then there are a few things to consider about how likely you are to do this project successfully when considering things like COVID safety, the intellectual property of people involved. If you're working with First Nations people, are you following our protocols properly? That's a big one for us, and you can find the protocols on our website. Are you consulting with people well? is everyone going to be safe, and have you considered the well-being of everyone involved? And so fundamentally, this is how likely are you going to be able to do what you say you want to do? And that's what the assessors are looking for, demonstrating that you know how to do this activity. And the third criteria, this one's all about impact. So the assessors will be looking at how impactful this will be on your artistic practice and your career. They might be looking at how it will extend your current practice and your network and skills, your ambition. And this is the one where you can talk about what the impact of your project might be to the audiences that get to participate. The shape of this can be different for everyone though. So it can be in reach with your existing audience or in depth of connection. Will this be the thing that actually tips you over into being seen or witnessed by a larger number of people? It can also be about your bold step into expanding your practice in new operating methods or new ways of making. And it can also be about addressing barriers that you have in your practice to help you get there. Sandy?
Lovely, thank you, Jane. We also want you to pay yourselves appropriately and your collaborators. That is very, very important for us as well. I'm going to ask Chris just to talk through the application form.
Yes, hi. So yeah, talking about the application form, which is where we take everything that Dan talked about and we pop it in the form. So the application form will ask you to provide a bunch of information. Obviously, we start with the title for your activity and then a summary of the activity. What are you doing, basically? A brief bio of the artist or arts worker who's applying, so yourself, your colleagues maybe, a detailed description of your activity. So that's where you can take the summary of your activity and you flesh that out a bit more, and you talk more about what you're going to do. A timetable, a timetable or itinerary of your activity. So again, what are you doing? When is this going to be viable? What are the steps that you're going to take to do it, basically? An outline of how your activity will extend your arts practice, networks, skills, and ambition. More details of the expenses, the income, and the in-kind support for your activity, including any access or support costs. So a big part of what we do is we do ask you to calculate, I guess, the in-kind expenses as part of your budget, as part of wanting everyone to be paid or to be sort of have their work acknowledged and the worth of their work acknowledged. Excuse me. And then any supporting material that is relevant to your activity. So supporting material may include examples of previous work, bios of additional people involved, and letters of support from participants or relevant communities. So the Australia Council grants information, including guidelines and application forms, are of course available in accessible formats upon request. So these formats include Word documents, audio CD, Braille, Easy English, Auslan, and large print. Please note that requests for translated materials will need to allow for a 6-week turnaround. We also accept applications for all of our programs in accessible formats. And again, formats include Auslan, audio, video, printed, dictated, electronic, and handwritten formats. Contact Artist Services, so one of us, to discuss your requirements. So we also have a couple of numbers which I'll read out, but we'll also pop maybe in the chat, or they're linked on our website. So you can call us on 02 9215 9000 or toll free on 1800 226 912. We also allow for the National Relay Service, which have a bunch of different options for making a call, all of which we welcome. So again, the National Relay Service is available 1800 555 667. Or if you'd like to just email us, that's totally fine too. Again, just inquiries with an E, so enquiries at australiacouncil.gov.au.
Thank you. As I say, there are 6 grants available in this round at $30,000 each. We also have the Arts and Disability Awards, and that closes on the 2nd of August as well. They are for their awards from the Australia Council. You can't self-nominate. Someone will nominate you for this award. It's one for an artist in early career. There's no age limit on that. It's just early career. And the other one is for an established artist. And as I say, that closes on the 2nd of August as well. And the details of those 2 awards are up on the website next to the Arts and Disability Initiative round that we've just been talking about. I'm going to just, I think we're getting some questions in. Yeah, okay. I'll hand over to young Megan again.
Thank you, Sandy. The first question that we have from Robert is, will this recording be available? And yes, the recording and a transcript will be available on our website. And if you're having trouble finding it, please call or email us and we can point you in the right direction.
It'll probably be a few days.
Couple of days. Second question from Robert. Can the grant support a number of projects, for example, a residency and a film?
If you think that $30,000 will cover both of those activities, then yes, sure, it's up to you to make the case of how you're going to A, do the residency, and B, pay for the film to be made.
I might pipe in on that one too, Sandy. So it may help in that type of instance to find a way to connect those 2 projects together when you are making your case for the quality of your application. The assessors are looking for a whole approach to this particular project, which can contain multiple parts, but if you can link them together into the story of what you want to do, then that can help to make the most compelling case.
Thanks, Dane.
And I might jump in and answer a question while I'm rolling from Anonymous. Can you use part of your budget to pay non-disabled artists who are your mentors and collaborators?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The next question from Felicity. Is the application form available as a Word document, or do you have to try and navigate the grants portal?
I believe we can make a Word document available. That's my understanding. Yes.
Yeah, just get in touch with us directly. If you experience any barriers with access or with any of the methods that we have provided for applying, then get in touch with us and we can work out how to get you what you need.
Okay, next question from Brianna. I noticed the details of expenditure and additional income is a text box. Are we able to submit the budget as a link or attachment to an Excel or Google spreadsheet?
Yes. You have the option to provide 3 URLs, and you can just make sure they work, the links work, but yes, you could put a spreadsheet in the URL.
I'll jump in, Megan, because there's a couple of questions about earliest date a project can start. So this is fairly standard with us, that it's 12 weeks after the closing date. That's how long we need to assess your application, and you can start from the announcement date, which is 12 weeks.
So it'd be August, September, October, November. Project starting from November the 2nd.
Okay, I've got a question here from Tiff. What key things should a person write in a letter of support? Go, Chris.
I mean, I think it depends on the nature of what you're applying for, but generally a good letter of support will speak to the quality of yourself, the applicant, maybe a little bit about the relationship between the person writing the letter and yourself. So I'm this person, I am their mentor in XYZ kind of thing. So the quality of the work and the work that you make, and then also the quality of the project and what you're applying for. And so maybe not even like, what am I saying? Beyond just being like, this is a good project or this is a good artist, also perhaps talking to the wider impact that it could have or that your work has, I think could also be helpful.
I think where the assessors are looking for not just a generic, Dear Australia Council, this person's great. They want the support letter to really tell a story about you, the artist.
And I guess trying to make the assessors excited about you and how wonderful you are.
Thank you. Okay. Question from Nikki. Can you please describe in-kind support in more detail?
Champing at the bit, yeah.
Feels like an answer, I didn't get.
In-kind means anything that has value that is not cash. So that can be time, it can be the provision of a rehearsal space. It could be someone taking photos for you, as it's representing their value, but where it's not giving cash to your project.
Thank you, Dane. Question from Heidi. Does the panel consider when a grant application is written by a non-disabled artist on behalf of the artist and a disabled artist doing it themselves?
No, we would expect artists to get the help they need for any of our applications, and that we would not discriminate against a grant that was written not by you, but by someone that's assisting you. So that's not, you know, as long as we know about you and what you want to do, we're not bothered about who writes it for you. We would want you to get that help.
Thank you, Sandy. Question from Michelle. Are you looking for applications that utilise most of the $30,000 or can it be substantially less?
No, there's 6 grants of $30,000. So it's not up to, it's not a minimum. That's the grant, 6 grants at $30,000.
Okay. Question from Joseph. Can the grant help me to get equipment like Sculpted tools to help make my artwork in a safe way? What is the spend limit on art equipment? Yes, sorry. Yes, the grant money can be used to purchase equipment that is needed for your project. We don't have a set limit on how much money you can spend on that equipment. We just suggest that it be a reasonable amount of money. If the grant was to spend the $30,000 entirely on equipment, my suggestion would be that that may not be as competitive. Sorry, Dana.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Megan. And I'll answer Christine Johnson in this same one as well. And that, yes, you can spend, you can apply to spend the money on whatever you need to realise your project. However, one large capital purchase is more than a project. So if you need to buy something that lives for much longer than the scope of this project, then consider applying for a percentage of the amount of that equipment rather than the whole thing. We, as Sandy's mentioned, we want to make sure that people get paid properly for their time. So a large part of your budget is most likely going to be including your time. And I'll also answer another question, which is regarding access. Yes, you need to include any access costs you have in this budget application. Access expenses are not available on top of the $30,000.
Thanks, Dave. Just a quick note for everyone, just try and pop your questions in the Q&A box rather than the chat in case we miss any that are in there. Got another question here from Brianna. In terms of paying yourself, if we expect to receive income as part of the project from somewhere else, but the pay may be small or uncertain, do you recommend also including some guaranteed pay for yourself and bandmates out of this grant?
I think what we're saying is that the 30,000, we want to see artists being paid correctly and equitably. So if you are, you're receiving money against the box office or something along those lines, or if there's some money coming in from another source, you can always put that against an in-kind in the in-kind section. Not sure whether that's clear, whether I'm being clear on that. Yeah. You're not going to be penalised if you're earning income, is more what I'm trying to say. So yes, the $30,000 is for you and your collaborators to make work or present a project that's bold, innovative, and ambitious. I'm not sure whether I've answered that question.
Thank you, Sam.
Clearly.
Oh, that's good. And as always, give us a call.
Yeah.
Or send us an email. Okay. Got another question here from Anonymous. Does the NDIS count as in kind? What if you don't know if it will be approved by a plan manager? Support from the NDIS, income versus in kind. How to show that in budgets?
I think that might be a specific question, which you can give us a call about, because we might need to answer more or ask more questions in order to answer you specifically for that one.
Yeah, a grant is always considered by the ATO as income. And whilst we can't give you tax advice, you need to consider that that $30,000 will be classified as income with the ATO. So any NDIS payments that you receive, and you need to have a chat with your accountant or the ATO. But yes, it's definitely classed as income.
Thank you, Sandy. Question from Brianna about support material. The instructions around brief bios and CVs should be presented as a single document, no longer than 2 A4 pages in total. Does this mean each bio should be one single document? So this means that you've got 2 A4 pages to fit all of your bios on. So they'll be shorter and you've got up to 2 pages. I hope that's answered your question, Brianna. Please contact us if you want to talk about that a little bit more. Jeffrey, this might be a question for you, Sandy. How many applications do we anticipate that we'll receive into this round?
I'm hoping that there's lots of great applications. Bearing in mind that there's only 6 grants being given out, but while we're on that, we also have the general arts projects round that's closing on the 6th of September, and we would encourage everybody to look at that as well, for arts projects for individuals and groups, and have another, bite at the cherry, if you like. I would assume we would get around probably 50 applications to this round.
I might just add to that one as well, Sandy. So absolutely apply to arts projects as well. The flavour of this one is slightly different because the criteria is all about impact, that 3rd criterion. Whereas for our regular arts projects round, we have slightly different 3rd criteria. Having said that, you can apply to both. You might not want to make exactly the same application to both though. So think about this one as about impact on your development, and have a look at arts projects in a slightly different way if you're interested in applying to that. And while I'm talking, I'll pick up on Oliver's question as well. When you are talking about artists getting paid, are you talking about MEAA rates, agreed rates, or some other standard? And that's a complex question, Oliver. Yes, it can be MEAA. Yes, it can be the Australian Society of Authors. Yes, it can be the Live Performance Award. It depends on your art form. It can also be an agreed rate. For instance, people that make music videos are more likely to give you a quote than an industry standard rate. What we like to see is how you arrived at a figure, and if there is a relevant industry standard, that you are using that to work with.
Thanks, Dane. Got 2 questions here about auspicing. So is it possible to be auspiced? The short answer is yes, it is. On the form, there is a section where you can nominate who you would like to auspice your grant. That is also something that we can, that can be sorted out after the fact if the grant is successful. Is there a cap or percentage for the auspicing amount? I'm going to assume that that is about the fee to the auspicing organisation or person, and that is something that is negotiated between yourself and the auspicing body.
Just a little note on that, we call auspices fiscal sponsors. So if when you're in the application form, as Megan said, it will ask you a question whether you are going to have the grant administered, and that's what a fiscal sponsor is, or an auspicer.
Thank you, Sandy. I have another question here from Margie. Is disclosure of your type of disability necessary? And the answer is no. You will not be asked to identify disability. More questions.
What's happening in the chats? Do we know? Are they questions that need to come over to? Sorry, I'm muttering, just trying to work out what's coming through on the chats instead of going into the Q&A function.
I've got a question from Helen. I think Dane would have a really great answer for this question. What is your idea of bold, as it can be very subjective? Can you describe something you would consider to be bold and how this might be assessed?
Yeah, that's a really difficult question, Helen.
And I'm glad you asked it.
Sorry, Dane.
Because I've been thinking about that too.
Yeah, that's a really meaty question. I can't make an example because any single example I could give is going to be very different from the diverse range of practices that you all have. And so the answer that I'll give is, what will the assessors think of as bold? And you need to make a case direct to them, remembering that they are artists themselves, generally, or they are arts workers. So they're used to being in the field, they go to shows, they read the books, they see the videos, they witness the work. You're making a case to 6 other arts practitioners with disability who will be considering what they think is bold and is what you're proposing bold to them.
I guess also just, I mean, we've used several words in there that, like, ambitious. So again, it's what the project will, how it will sort of bring your practice or you as an artist to the next level. So I think wasn't our term. We didn't write this. So I just think ambitious and bold is something that you need to think about, whether you think it's bold and ambitious, and as Dane said, make your case.
Question from Christine, support letters, how many? You can have 5 letters of support in your application, and each letter can be 1 page. Louise, do I need support letters if I'm applying to grow my network for the project as a part of the grant? Yes, we always suggest that you include support letters. They may not be from partners, but they may be from industry peers or collaborators that can really speak to the value of the work that you do or how important this opportunity may be for you. You don't need to include all 5, but you can include up to 5 letters.
I'll answer Margie. Can this grant be part of a larger funding request? Yes, it can, Margie. You could combine this with grant applications to other places or another application to us. That's where it will start to get a little bit more complicated, and there are a few different ways to look at doing it. So rather than going into the fineries of combining budgets here, it's best if we could have a chat on the phone, or if you'd like to email us, and we can point out a couple of different ways to look at it. How are we going there?
How are we going? Sorry.
That's all right.
We have. Okay, Brianna is still a little unsure about project start and end dates. Is it possible for the project to end in 2025, for example? Yes, Brianna, so you will nominate your start date in your application, and then you have 2 years from that date to complete your grant. So it will be possible that it may end in 2025. Okay, got one more from Anonymous. Can the activity be a curatorial or critical publishing project rather than an artwork? If so, can the curatorial project involve artists that do not experience disability?
I think we need more details on that. I'd suggest if it's possible, give us a call. This is I think we need more details. I mean, these grants are for artists with disability, deaf community artists, and I think I know where you're going with it, but we want to see the money go to for this specific round to go to those artists.
Judy, can we take a year to complete the project, or do we have to take 2 years? Yes, you can take a year. You don't need to take 2 years.
And I'll answer Danielle Constance. I have 2 questions regarding the National Disability Awards Early Career. The long form text asks to respond to the criteria. The criteria is actually just that simple description: an Australian artist in the first 10 years of their practice who has made an outstanding contribution to their chosen field. Yes, that's the one. Second question, are the award monies and agreements made out to the nominee directly or the nominator? We pay the person who wins the award. And I'll jump over while we're here, because I'm noticing some comments. We're not specifically asking things in the chat, but I can see Heidi and Belinda have been talking about access costs. We are aware that if your access costs are higher, that the project may can be viewed as impacting the scope of the entire project, and we actually take that into account. So if we only have 6 lots of $30,000, that's what we've got available, but we will consider how much needs to go towards access costs in the mix, and consider the scale of your project accordingly, so that no one is particularly advantaged or disadvantaged based on the level of needs that they have.
Yeah, good.
Okay. We have gone through all the questions that we have in Q&A now, but please feel free to add anything else if there's any burning questions still.
We encourage you to get in touch with us, however that works for you, so that we can provide a bit more nuanced advice on your project. Have a minute's silence while everybody wraps their head around all of this. Yes.
Maybe I could jump in.
Go on then,
and just say,
Dane.
we actually really like talking with artists and arts workers. That's our job here in Artist Services. And we're here to help. So we are all variously specialists. I come from music, Megan comes from dance, Chris is a theatre maker and author or writer. What's the word? Playwright.
Yeah.
Playwright.
Award-winning
Playwright.
and you know.
And a doctor at that.
Yes.
So we love talking with people and with you about the work that you want to do. So feel free to get in touch with us any number of ways. We've given you the numbers and the email address. We can also schedule a Zoom or a Teams chat. However you want to have a chat with us, we're here to help you get your application together, and we love doing it.
Got a few more that have come through. Should we go through them?
Yes.
Yeah. Judy, how do we receive the transcripts? The transcripts and the recording will be on the website, so on the web page for this grant opportunity. But please contact us if you're having trouble finding it.
I'm not sure whether, I know Diego is still there. He's our genius webmaster and webmaster wizard. Maybe Diego, I don't know whether we'd send out the link to the participants, or
I'm not sure if we can. We will try to do that.
yeah.
But if we can't do that, it will be on the website where this opportunity is.
Yeah.
Okay, question from Anonymous. Chris, do you want to answer this question? What if we are the sole artist developing the project independently? Does this weaken our application?
No,
No,
not at all. I think it comes down to, again, sort of the project and the way that you construct and tell the story of your grant and your project and what you're doing. There are certain things that will obviously help in terms of having mentors or other participants, or sort of having things more in place, talking about the viability, but you're more than welcome to work independently. That's absolutely allowed.
And we might take this as our final question. Oh, they're still coming through. Two more. Louise, is it better to have a national project or a state/city-based one? There's absolutely no rules or guidelines around where in space your project takes place.
Whatever suits your work and what you're doing best. I think there's not either one will benefit. Yeah, that makes sense.
wherever you want.
Yes, there we go. That's much easier.
Okay, Billy, can funding be spent on mentoring mainly and setting up an artist-run initiative? I'm working on establishing a studio to cater for intersectional multimedia community and space that doesn't fit in the area I'm in. Yes, mentoring is absolutely an eligible activity for funding. I think, Billy, if you'd like to give us a call or an email, we can chat to you about your specific project if you like. That was our last question.
Yes, I want to say thank you to everybody. It's been a real privilege to be able to do this session. I'm so glad that that the money got quarantined for this initiative, and we will also be making a Arts and Disability Fellowship available later on, and the guidelines on that will go up very, very soon. I want to just say thank you to they're not mine, I just pretend they are, the people from Sweeney Interpreting, who are so amazing. Love your work, as always. I want to thank my team, Chris, Dane, Megan, and thanks, Diego, the webmaster. And if we've got, and please do get in touch with us. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you again for participating in this. It's been really, really great to have you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.